21. Okay, we'll start with the resistance pattern. Always doing things the hard way, constant struggle. So, a core theme of the 21 is endurance. It's enduring struggle and hardship. So the resistance pattern comes in where this mental pattern is constantly creating struggle, that where the endurance has to come into effect. And simply put, coming into the genius talent is still having the endurance, having the strength, but utilizing it in a strategic way. So in the resistance pattern, it's always finding the hardest way to do something. In the genius talent, it's always finding the most simple and effective way to do something. A phrase that really relates to this is that there's no honor in unnecessary struggle. There's no honor in unnecessary struggle. Because there's going to be things in life where we have to endure, we have to make it through. However, there's no glory in if it's unnecessary. And so the reason why this comes up is, I know personally, I've experienced things when I was younger that I realized I was creating unnecessary struggle. I was creating hardship for me to go on this hero's journey of battling through the odds so that I could make it through at the end, by the skin of my teeth, emerge across the finish line, battered and bruised, and say, look, world, I made it. Look at all this hardship that I went through. I'm worthy of love, essentially. I'm worthy of respect. And that's the resistance theme of 21 playing out here. So when a person is in the genius talent, they're the person who always finds the most simple, effective way to get the job done. And that's what creates grace and ease. And this is incredibly useful. It's because the person still has the power, the endurance, the strength to endure things, but it's a strategic strength. If you don't need to use the strength, go on, take a different path that gets you to the same goal faster and easier. So there's 3 shapes in here, and these represent intelligence, endurance, and strength.
Here's what I found.
And so that's where the strategic strength comes in, where it's knowing when to deploy your strength, how to cross the finish line with the most grace and ease. Okay, so let's dive into deeper of the resistance pattern, because this can create a lot of blockages. It can feel like it can feel like a very heavy energy of always having to struggle and move forward, that life is a constant struggle, when in fact, the way to start reversing this is this: in every challenge that you have, ask yourself, what's the path of grace and ease? What's the most simple and effective path here? And as you ask yourself that, the mind, the consciousness starts opening up to the different pathways, whereas before the resistance pattern shuts and blocks off the mind to any of those alternate pathways. So ultimately, yes, usually people who have this go through some type of struggle, especially early on in their life where they have to endure. And the key of this, especially having this awareness, is knowing that your life doesn't have to be a constant struggle. You went through it once, you tapped into endurance and strength that perhaps you might not even known you had, but now you do. And if you ever need it, it's there, but you don't need to keep going through the same mud of the same struggle and the same lesson, because you already have it. So this is the call, this is the invitation, this is the encouragement to start tapping into the genius talent, which finds the strategic way, which finds the grace and ease path for all things. Because that's ultimately what those 3 items are, which is intelligence, endurance, and strength. So we'll close up with this lesson with looking at any blockages that you feel, because this can lead to a lot of anger. It can feel like being suppressed. It can feel like this also can get locked up in the body as well, of feeling like there's no incentive, like since it's always a struggle anyways, what's even the point of continuing? I'm just going to stay here where things are at. And you just got to understand if you are feeling that, it's just the resistance pattern. So you're not here to feel stuck and trapped by, what comes to mind is like energetic sludge, that's just hardening and just keeping you out of motion. So the key here is break through of that and then always be choosing the grace and ease path so that heavy energy never is around you. It's also very important to move the body every day, because that helps move the body and break a sweat every day, because that helps move these energies of very hardening, sluggish energy. And as that happens, more momentum happens, it becomes easier and easier, and the subconscious becomes more and more open to finding the path of grace and ease in any and all things. And ultimately, that's where you can teach people to have the strength while also choosing the most strategic route to get to their goal or get out of their challenge with grace and ease.